Sports on Air.
Welcome everyone to another great episode only here on the Athletes Corner, presented to you by Sports on Air YouTube channel and Facebook page and Cloudwalk Digital. We are your boys. My name is CD Argarin.
And my name is Miguel Latorre. Yes, everyone, nakatutok po kayo dito lang sa Athletes Corner kung saan pag-uusapan po natin ang buhay ng ating special guest on and off the court.
Yes, Mig, 5 episodes, bro. Can you believe it?
Yes, brother. Milestone, man. Milestone.
Yeah, and sobrang lupit na episode natin na to. Pero bago tayo mag-move on sa ating episode, Mig, kamusta pre? Ano naman balita sa atin? Nagiging maulan na nakaraan or pinagkakaabalaan mo?
Ito actually, kanina nga bago tayo sumalang, no, medyo nagre-reminisce ako kasi, brother, on this day, 7 years ago, na-break ng ating Gilas Pilipinas team ang Korean curse, di ba? And grabe, 7 years na ang nakalipas. Ikaw, nasaan ka nun nung nangyari yun? Anong ginagawa mo ba nun?
Pinanaalala ko nung time na yun, may kapustahan akong tropa ko.
Of course,
I'm
of
sorry,
course.
guys. Sa Korea ako pumusta. Pero I'm glad na natalo ako. That was the only time na natuwa ako natalo ako kasi
Win-win situation yun eh.
Yeah, but it
Diba?
feels great. It feels great at that moment. Not only as a basketball fan, pero as a Filipino as well, di ba?
Of course,
Nawakas na
of
break
course.
natin yung first time. Ikaw ba, pre, nung naalala mo sa moment na yun?
Actually, nasa bahay lang, no? Pero the moment na nag-sound ang buzzer, no, nakita ko nagyakapan si Ping at saka si Japet. 'Di ba? Yung ambience dun sa MOA Arena, dala-dala hanggang dito sa bahay. Talagang magiging emotional ka eh, no? As a Filipino. Tama ka nga sa sinabi mo. Hindi lang as a basketball fan, but as a Filipino. Kahit hindi ka nanonood ng basketball, pag napanood mo yung game na yun, iba yung pakiramdam talaga.
Oh,
Diba?
and that moment when Coach Chot was crying and
Yeah.
si Larry, tinaas yung kamay niya. Grabe, sarap sa pakiramdam.
Iba.
Pero,
Mhm.
Mig, let's move on to our episode.
Of course.
Kasi itong episode na to, guys, bukod sa number 5 episode namin na to, this is a Legends edition and a Coaches edition as well. So, 2 birds in 1 stone kami dito sa episode
First time
na to.
ever.
Ako excited na ako because I'm a fan of this man. So, let's introduce this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here on the show the 7-time PBA champion, he's a final MVP back in the 2003 Reinforced Conference, 2002 best player of the conference during the All-Filipino Cup, and he was also a 10-time PBA All-Star, a 4-time PBA All-Defensive Team, and a 4-time mythical first team. And he is also one of the few players in the PBA that won that coveted Grand Slam.
Yes, Carl, tama ka dyan. And aside from that, he also coached numerous teams where he won 4 PBA championships. And right now, he's the current coach of the Alaska Aces. Wag natin patagalin pa, Carl. Let's introduce
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the jet of the Philippine basketball, the one and only Coach Jeffrey Cariaso. Yeah.
Hey guys. Gosh.
Hey, Coach.
What an introduction. Gosh, thank you so much.
And that was a mouthful. You have a lot of accolades in your career.
No. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be here and I love your energy. So I'm excited to get this started.
Yeah. So Coach, before we go, how's your family? How's life under quarantine? How are you doing that?
We're good. I can't complain. During this time, I think it's really how you really look at it. I mean, aside from not having a choice and being stuck at home, there's so many things you can get done. You can do a lot of it. In all honesty, aren't the things that you're used to, but it gives you an opportunity to do things. And I'm sure everyone has said it. Spend more time with family, and then do the other things that you don't normally get to do. Organize things, fix things. So that's what we've been doing, and then just personally, just doing my best to keep our boys in shape. We've been doing a lot of Zoom and at home workouts. And then what's fun is I'm joining it too, so I'm trying to get into a little better shape also.
Yeah, that is really cool, Coach. I've been seeing your stories, your lives. it's really cool that the whole team is staying active, even if you're not actually together. So, Coach, earlier we were talking about that moment when Gilas finally broke that Korean curse. How about for you? What do you remember from that moment?
Gosh, you guys described the feeling of, even if you're not a basketball fanatic, on how, the feeling
Yeah.
that you would feel during that moment. And honestly, being at home, of course, I was home supporting, watching. You felt like for a split second that lasted for maybe a couple hours after, you felt like the whole Philippines was at a standstill. No, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone wasn't moving, everyone was in awe, everyone was in disbelief, and that disbelief, it equates to you being happy. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
one thing I think that Gila's team has, really given us. It's just for that split second, you're not thinking about anything else but us winning, and somehow, some way, you feel that you're a small part of it. So that's one thing I think I'll never forget.
Yeah, it's really cool, Coach. I agree. So, Coach, as I said earlier, we'll just take a stroll down memory lane.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your career, because us young guys, young journalists, we weren't able to watch you. So
Yeah.
able to watch the clips. So,
Yeah,
but I'm a
okay.
big fan of yours. My dad is a big fan of yours. He keeps talking about your name, so I really want to do this for you. So let's jump
Nice.
right in. 1995 PBA draft, selected sixth
Okay.
overall. Coach, you entered a team that is very stacked. You got Alaska got guys like Johnny A, Jojo Lastimosa, Bong Hawkins at that time.
Right.
So, what do you remember about being a young guy entering that kind of a team?
Well, the thought there was, first of all, I was very happy that I got drafted. So at that moment, you don't really care who drafts you, no? You just want to be drafted and be part of the team. But for it to be Alaska, to be honest with you, it was a little bit of a surprise, because not that I was foreseeing myself to go higher, but I was expecting a little bit to go higher. There's a couple teams like Pure Foods and San Miguel who passed on me,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense anyway, because they had a lot of guys in my position during that time.
yeah,
Alan K. Dick was still playing, Ato Augustine was still playing, so those guys were there.
yeah,
But being drafted by Alaska, I think that the approach for me was really just, one, making sure that I knew what was happening. So I made it a
Mm.
point to come in and know that I can't have any expectations regardless playing time. Hindi
Mm.
dapat ganun yung approach niya.
Yeah.
You have a team of vets, like you said, so you have to
yeah,
be able to come in and, one, know what's happening, know the plays, know what Coach Tim wants, know how to execute, know where you're gonna be during certain times. Um, so regardless of the minutes, I just made sure that if he gave me 5, if he gave me 8 minutes, 10 minutes, then I would make sure that they would be the most perfect minutes as I could in regards to execution.
yeah.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna make every shot. Hindi naman nangyayari yun. So, but I think, you being able to come in with the mindset that you're gonna you're gonna know your position well, because you know that the team needs you and they trust you. Then I think that was an approach that I made going forward.
So, sorry, Miguel, wait lang. Pero,
Okay.
Coach, I just want to know, because you came from the US, right? So, did you have any background for about the PBA before the draft, about Alaska or the teams that could actually draft you at that time?
To be honest, I didn't know too much of the league. Um, how I learned of the PBA was me coming in 2 years earlier and played in a PBL. So
Mm,
that's why I was able to kind of jump in and understand the culture in the Philippines a little bit more. Um,
yeah.
I had the 2 years CD and Miguel. We would not we would be here until tomorrow. if I can
Yeah,
if I can describe to you how it was the 2 years I was here. There's a lot of sacrifice. There was a lot of getting to know the culture. Even though I'm
Yeah.
Filipino, both my parents are Filipino, and I could understand Filipino. I felt like I was in a foreign country.
Country.
So that's how it was. So I think that was God telling me, okay, if you can get through the 2 years, then I will make your dream come true and allow you to be in the PBA. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
2 years in a PBL, get drafted, and being from the States, I think again the approach is me being able to assert myself and be the one that my team, my teammates can get to know me better. It's
Yeah.
not the other way around. I'm the one adjusting to them. So I think again that was my approach, and luckily it was it was genuine and it worked.
Yeah,
So
it clearly worked.
I wasn't coming in thinking that I'm better than anyone. I wasn't coming in thinking I deserve this or feeling entitled in any way. To me, it was your typical old school. You have to bust your butt. You have to work for it, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
Coach.
it totally worked, Coach. Go on,
Coach,
Miguel.
a while ago you told me you can't expect a larger playing time, no, and you're right about that. But I just want to ask, what were your expectations for yourself coming into the league and being coached by the streaking Tim Con, right, during
Well,
your rookie year?
again, if I may take a step back and mention my 2 years here. So before the draft. So my 2 years here, aside from getting used to the culture and living in the Philippines and having no water at home, um, you I would watch the PBA games and I would really watch each player,
So
watch the
you've been
team. So
studying the
that's where
team.
I got correct. That's where I got familiar
Yeah.
with them. And without sounding too confident, it was always a thought of mine that I can play in that league. I can play there. So you know how in between timeouts or commercials, there's always like some highlights of the PBA players, diba?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the TV channel will make, and I would watch
Yes.
that, and I would say, you know what, I can guard that guy. I can play here. It really, and it's not being cocky. It was really just,
It's
I
just
could,
knowing what you can actually do, right?
yeah, I could foresee myself kind of playing in this league. Yeah. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but yeah, that was a thought coming in, and going into a team like Alaska, playing time is not promised to you, and that's the one thing Coach Tim said early. So I'm not promising playing time with you, so you have to earn it. So that's what I did. I was able to, luckily he'd always give me a chance every game. So whether it be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever, then I would make it hard for him to take me out of the game. So again,
Yeah.
that was my goal. So yeah.
Coach, what was the feeling, playing alongside and against players that you were just actually watching a year or 2 years ago? What was the feeling?
It was first of all, I respected everyone because these guys can play. That's one thing about and I hate to say it, a lot of the Philams who came in maybe early 2000, mid 2000, they came into the Philippines thinking that kaya nila,
They're
madali
it.
dito,
Yeah.
they're gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they were rudely corrected. So so it's one of those things where you have to understand that approach is key. Being a fighter is key, but you can be humble at the same time. So I think that was the thing that worked out.
So, Coach, let's now move on. Second season, that Grand Slam win with Alaska.
Right.
Talk to us about that season first. Prior to it starting, did you already feel like you guys were gonna dominate right away? Gonna dominate like that?
Right. Going into the Grand Slam year, 96. Remember, in 95, which was my rookie year, we were also in the finals 3 times.
Yeah.
And we
You guys
lost,
had the
and we
chances.
won. Yeah, we won the last one. So going into 96, we were the current champions. I think that in itself already, gave us the confidence that we needed. That, we knew that going into this year, we had a young and intact core, and we all trusted each other. We all loved playing with each other, and then obviously we have the best coach in the Philippines. probably in all of Asia. So going into that year, I think the team was confident. We didn't always start off strong, so I don't want to have to break down all the conferences, but I know the third conference, Miguel, we really struggled and went 0-4 to start.
Yeah.
And so and then the second conference we had issues with our imports.
Mhm.
We had to bring in Sean Chambers late in the semis, if I'm not mistaken. Remember, Sean is 6'4", and he's got the biggest heart and the biggest. I love playing with him. Just a wonderful teammate. But then our import that we were playing against was 6'8", 6'9", and Kenny Redfield of Shell. So, but we found a way. So yeah, that year was fun.
So, Coach, you mentioned Sean Chambers. There've been a lot of great imports that come in this league. You've seen a lot of it, but talk to us about this guy. How great is this Sean Chambers guy? Just for the people who doesn't know who that guy is.
Well, one good thing about Sean is obviously, at Alaska we talk about character. We talk about how important that is, no? And character is displayed on the court, and it's really displayed off the court. So that's one good thing I'd like to say first is character off the court, just a good guy, just your genuine, friendly, funny person who made a point to get along with his teammates.
Yeah.
So just the fact that he really made it a point, I think you can tell a lot about Sean already. So he made it easier for us, and then we hope we made it easier for him. So, and then just on the court, he just, when he turns it on, he's a fighter, he's a warrior.
There's no
He doesn't back down. So for an import to come in 10 years in a row again for Alaska, that shows the kind of person that he is. That shows the kind of player that he was. So you can't say too much. Just him coming back 10 years in a row is already enough to say about him.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Coach,
exactly.
I want to ask you, how big of an impact winning the elusive Grand Slam was in your career, considering you were only at your sophomore year. So
right.
How big boost is that achievement for your career?
Well, it being my second year, so you feel like you're still young, no? Your nose is still kind of runny. Kumbaga, baby pa tayo, no, at the time.
Yeah.
You really don't fully understand what you're into yet, no? So at that point, it was really just having fun and playing. That's really what it was, just having fun and playing. And the winning took care of itself because I had a group of veterans who were the main guys on the team, Johnny A, Bong Hawkins, and Jojo. And then we had key support guys who were just, again, phenomenal with their position and really, in full support of the kumbaga, the superstars that we had. So you had guys like Pochwinho, June Reyes, Merwin Costello. So those guys, and I felt like I was a part of that group where we did just do our job well, and then our superstars would kind of take care of us. So that's really the mindset. And what was nice was Coach Tim trusted me, especially defensively.
Yeah.
So I got to guard all the best shooters and scorers of the other team, and more often than not, they were imports. So again, that pushed me and made me better. So,
Coach, who's the hardest player you have to guard?
Oh gosh, honestly, when someone asks me this, I always say Bong Alvarez.
Why?
I always say Bong Alvarez. Honestly, I say, from the local guys and imports. Come on, that there's really, I could never say that you stopped any imports. So, instead of them having 40, they had 30. So you like this.
That's how you slowed them down.
Yeah, slow them down. Yeah, they scored 12 less points than they usually score.
So, Coach,
Um,
what's with Bong Alvarez?
Strong, athletic, quick. Bong was quick. He was one guy that, scouting report on him, and I'm not shy to say it, was, he wasn't too much of a shooter, and we know that, right?
Yeah.
But he could jump and he could attack fast and quickly, and he can go from point A to B, like that. So why I say I had the hardest time with him, because during transition in the open court, it was almost impossible to stop. And
Yeah,
then guarding him one-on-one, thinking that he's not a shooter, I give him space. So I give him space, thinking that when he makes a move, I can get there. I'm still too late. I'm still late. He still goes by me.
just too
So
fast, too strong,
yeah,
too
he's
good.
really too fast and too strong.
Coach, these I think a lot of people were shocked when you got traded to Mobiline, because you're coming off Grand Slam. As you said, you were just a young guy at that time. A lot of people were expecting for you to, do more in an Alaska jersey. But
Right.
next season, you're playing for Mobiline now,
Yeah.
ENT Catropa. So talk to us about that transition to that team, playing for a new coach. I think it was Coach Norman Black at that time.
Norman Black. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk about that transition.
Yeah. First of all, just so it's clear, it wasn't a trade. It was an offer sheet. So
Oh,
during that time, that was still allowed. So teams can offer players who are expired a contract, and your mother team will have to match it, or else they lose you to that team. So
okay.
um, you know, it's fair to say that during negotiations, not that we were having problems, but there was a little bit of going back and forth, and then all of a sudden, Coach Norman gets a job at Mobiline, and he wants to talk to me. So that's how that happened. So Mobiline offered me a contract. I think it was in regards to budget wise, it was a little bit over what Alaska can cover. So they had to let me go, and they lost me to Mobiline. So that's really what happened there. That's really what happened there. So go ahead.
So playing for Mobiline now, playing for a guy like Norman Black and a different team.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Especially, you said earlier that you were just a young guy trying to enjoy the game. Now you're being seen as the guy to take this team to the motherland, to the promised
Correct.
land. So
That was that's correct. That's correct. So the thought there was I had 2 years under my belt, and this is the first time, or my first opportunity, to kind of wear like the big boy pants. This is my time to kind of, all right, let's see what you're made of. You were a support guy, that, for your main guys at Alaska, Jojo again, Johnny. Okay. So now the expectation is you have to start being the Jojos and the Johnny on this team.
Yeah.
So we were young. We were a mixture of very young and very kind of, I don't want to say old, but vets.
Yeah,
So we had guys like Al Solis and Glenn Capaccio, who's still at the tail end of their career. We had guys like Richard Del Rosario, although still very young, Joey Santa Maria, so guys like that. But the young guy that we were excited about was also still a good friend of mine, was Andy Siegel. He was our draft. So again, it's not overnight where you can create a championship caliber team. You have to do it slowly. You have to do it smart. But that team, I think, made too many moves too early, if you ask me. So I don't think Coach Norman lasted a year, and that he was the reason why I decided to sign the offer sheet.
Yeah.
And we had several coaches after that. We had trades that we ended up trading actually, Andy, and to me, I think that nothing against the person we got, but that set us back then compared to setting us forward. So there was a lot of quick decisions too soon, and it was hard. It was a difficult situation. At that point, you kind of have to be patient. Let a couple years go by. You might be able to acquire some new rookies. and I think the approach there was a little bit rushed. But like I said, how was it for me? It was a great experience because it was three years of trying to get this team on the map, on the
Yeah.
PBA map, and there was a lot of struggle. So that made me better. That made the team better, and there's a lot of learning. So again, I brought that. Sorry, I keep knocking off my earphone.
It's okay,
It's
coach.
fine.
That learning curve I experienced there again made me again a better player. So
Coach, in an interview with Hot Seat, you disclosed that your years with the Phone Pals were one of the best because, like you said, it helped you into a much better player. But despite not winning any championships, how did that happen? How did they help you mature or develop into a better player?
well, I think you talk about just me personally. So the responsibility that's put upon your shoulders to be one of the main guys. You need to improve your leadership skills. You need to improve your game and be more consistent. There's more to and when you guys talk to players more, you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear this a lot more. The leadership aspect is as important than you being able to perform consistently every day, every night. So that was something that I was again learning and starting to learn during that time. Just challenges of losing games or being short and not making the playoffs, or losing to Ginebra in the first round, and where you were number one.
Yeah.
And so games like that, how do you mature? How do you improve yourself? I think looking back, all those, all the heartaches and the difficult and the challenging moments, made me tougher mentally, and improved my skills, my leadership skills, and my approach to the game and my approach to my teammates. And then definitely, because I was put in a position where you're playing a lot of minutes, your skills also improved.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that Coach Norman was the primary reason why you transferred to Mobiline. But then, during your first year with the phone Pals, uh, uh, he was transferred to another team. I want to ask you, how did you handle such move? No.
To be honest with you, I was really disappointed. It was hard to understand. I think it, again, looking back, less than a year was just too soon. So me jumping on board and wanting to be a part and learning. And that time I was learning so much from Coach Norman. Him being a former import, him knowing how to win in the league. It's vital, guys, that you have coaches. And I don't say this because I'm a coach now, but it's vital that when you're a player that you have coaches who really knows what it takes to win in this league, in our league, in the PBA. So, all the conversations at practice and the bus, during the dugouts, those are all crucial moments that'll help you eventually, win a championship. And Coach Norman was that guy. And I was excited to learn more from him. But, again, things happen and you just have to move on and adjust. And that's one thing I think I haven't said too much in regards to my stint at Mobiline was there were several adjustments that you had to make.
Yeah.
And again, adjustments will make you better. Adjustments will make you stronger.
So, Coach, after your time with Mobiline, you had after leaving Alaska, you had a very long drought. I think 6 years before your first finals appearance.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you had a stint with Tanduay Rum Masters for about 2 years, and then Coca-Cola, reuniting with Johnny A, reuniting with Bong Hawkins. So talk to me about that one, Coach. How was it, being on a team with a familiar face like those two guys, and that first championship against Alaska? It was against Alaska. Your first championship since leaving Alaska was against Alaska. So talk to us about that time of your career.
Again, so you're spoiled a little bit, So first 2 years with Alaska, my first 6 conferences, I was in the finals.
Yeah.
First 6, imagine that. And
Yeah.
then you go for a drought for 6 years, right?
6 years.
So how hard is it? How hard is it to win in the Philippines in the PBA? It's very hard. So us players, we don't take it for granted. So being
Yeah,
able to
of
be
course.
part of that Coke team where there was a familiar guys on the team who were again still at their prime, but at the top prime of their game. So I was coming in again, still being the vet of the team, but I think I can describe that moment as it being the start of my prime.
Yeah.
So being at Coke in 2002, that meant that I would have 7 years under my belt already, 7-8 years under my belt. So again, all the experiences that I learned from the past, the winning, the losing, that all kind of came together. You know, me as being the main guy at Coke, and I describe Coke as, I would say that the 2 years there and the championships there as the most perfect kind of season for me as a player. And why do I say that? Is because number one is you're at your prime and you're playing your best basketball. Number two, you're winning. Because you could be playing at your prime, but you're not winning.
Winning, yeah.
But we were winning. Number three, teammates. I had guys that trusted and believed in each other and played for each other who were just awesome teammates. Rafi Rivas was on that team. Rudy Hatfield was on that team.
Yeah.
And then don't forget our coach. Who's our winning coach at that time? You guys remember?
Coach Chot.
Coach Chot, right?
Yeah.
So I go back and I said earlier, you have to have that winning coach. You got to have that guy who knows how to win in the PBA. So we had Coach Chot that just challenged us every day, just beyond measure, you know? And then, so our job was really just to be out there and perform as consistent as we can and bring it all together. And we did, because we made 4 straight finals, and then we won. It was bookends championship. We won the first one and the 4th one.
Yeah.
So really, really special moment. And then, sorry to continue, why I say it's the perfect one for a player. So aside from all that, we were winning championships, and then when you win championships as a player, you get all the accolades.
Yeah.
You get all the awards at the end of the season, and so you feel complete. You really do. And then your contract, because you're at the prime of your career, your contract is also probably the biggest in your career. So that's how I describe it, and I'm very fortunate and very blessed.
It is certainly, your prime, because you won the best player of the conference in that conference. And but Coach, how was it facing against Tim Cone in the finals?
I try not to look at him.
were you like intimidated every time you see the Alaska bench?
No. I think intimidation is not the word. We're at that point, we're competitors, and I also wanted to win. I also wanted to win against my former team. I mean, that's just a given. So I try not to look there too much. I try to make sure that I was playing my best. And again, you don't say anything. There's no need to say anything except for trying to win a championship. And fortunately, we were able to.
Coach, how fulfilling was that title win against Alaska? Because you were telling us earlier about having a complete conference, a complete season. So you were the best player of the conference, and you won the title, and you won that on Christmas night, right? So
right.
How fulfilling was that title?
Well, again, winning it on Christmas Day was also another unique, opportunity. So that was special. You talk to all the players who have played for other teams. When you win a championship against your former team, it gives it that much more, special meaning. So, again, approaching it was the same way, professionally, and again, just doing what you can to help your team win. But when it finally happens, again, it's special. It's special because, again, the other guys on your team used to be the team that you used to play with. And, they're just as competitive as I am. And the feeling that I had going into the series was the same feeling they had. And again, that's just how it is. And again, both can't win. So again, we're fortunate that we did.
Coach, did you have a conversation with Coach Tim after that final series?
Yeah.
Did you guys
I
talk
don't
about
think
that
so.
one?
I don't think so. I think it was more, I know for sure not soon after. So when I'd see him the next conference, Coach Tim, again, the professional that he is, he'll always tap me in my butt and just say, congratulations, buddy. And then, by that time he would be calm, a little bit more calm and relaxed, so
Yeah.
I don't think I want to speak to him, maybe 2 weeks after, no sooner than 2 weeks after.
Coach, I want to talk about this one. 2003 PBA Reinforced Finals, Conference Finals, Game 7 against San Miguel.
Right.
This is a great series because I'm looking
Yeah.
at it. It was
7 games.
through
Right.
7 games. It was all close games. So
Right.
talk to us
That's
about.
that's the one with T. McClary, right?
Yeah,
The one with
I think so.
Artemis
Yeah, yeah.
McClary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that one, Coach. How
Well,
hard was it to
again,
win that
yeah.
series? And it was against a team with Danny I,
Right.
a legend.
Olsen. Yeah.
So
Olsen.
Yeah,
talk to us
Olsen.
about that one. Olsen, yeah.
Right. So again, 2 good friends of mine. The 2 guys that 2 names you mentioned, obviously, good friends of mine. And it's just like this. And I think San Miguel knows it. And it's a little bit with Ginebra too, of course.
Yeah.
But when you beat San Miguel and when you beat Ginebra, again, that makes it unique and special. And just because it's them. Just because they're the most popular, just because they have the most fans, just because,
they're the Lakers and the Boston Celtics of the
exactly,
PBA, you know?
exactly. So we're coming in, Coca-Cola team. Who can you describe that? Coca-Cola team may be like a San Antonio Spurs, at the time. You know what I mean? We're coached well. We're solid. We're disciplined, and then we're fighters.
Yeah.
So you come in and you beat the almighty Lakers, or the almighty Boston Celtics. It's a special treat. So that made it special. But again, you learn more and you experience more when games go to Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there's so many things that happen just during that one game that you can look back that if this would have happened, maybe we wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
We're lucky this happened, and that's the reason why we won. So there's a lot of that. So again, you gotta be able to look back and learn from these games and really use it and apply it for you to be better in the future. But again, I may say I just remember sitting down on the floor in the lounge and just kind of taking a deep breath because you're tired and you're just happy. You're just happy. Remember when Jordan was it his first championship or when was he just laying on the floor?
I think that was the 4th one. I think that was
it the
the
4th?
one.
Yeah, because
It was crying. It was crying.
It was just
crying,
crying.
right? Just laying on the floor. I could
Yeah.
really understand that. I could really understand how he
Same
felt.
feeling.
Yeah. So really, really, really nice.
It's a really great series. You guys were down 2-1,
Coach.
but somehow you guys pull it off. Go on, Mig.
Yeah.
Coach, prior to that, final game, prior to that conference, you guys lost twice to Talk and Text and Alaska. You guys lost 2 finals matchup. And in that game, Game 7, you were on the verge of, either breaking the curse or the curse will continue with you guys losing 3rd straight in the finals. But
Right.
I want to know, how did you handle such pressure? Because that game, can either make or break such great run.
Right.
So how did you handle the pressure?
That's actually a good question, Miguel. You'd have to think that, especially in the finals, there's always pressure, right?
Yeah.
In the elimination, there's pressure. You're trying to get the top spot, right?
Yeah.
During the first round of the playoffs, there's pressure. So it intensifies as you prolong the conference and the further you get. And I think, you know, at that point, you have to be able to learn to play with that. And I think the pressure wasn't there in regards to, oh, we have to win because we lost the last two.
Yeah.
I think the pressure was more of, or the attitude of the guys was more of, we lost the last two. Let's get this third one and make sure it doesn't continue. So that we were more focused there. So, you know, we weren't fearing what happened in the past because it happened already and we learned. And, you know, we all know we could have played better. I myself could have played better. You know, those two series, especially Talk and Text. I had probably the worst finals performance in my career, to be honest with you. As a player, I made the finals 8 times. And that was probably, I won the championship 8 times. And I made the finals 12 times as a player. And that was, out of the 4, that had to be the worst one. The worst one in regard. But yeah, so you go in there and you use the losses to motivate you even more. So that's what happened.
So, Coach, after obviously you had the successful run with Coca-Cola, but after that, now you're back with the Alaska side. 2004, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 4.
So, how was that? How was that feeling? You know, the last time we were in Alaska, you were the young guy. Now you're the old guy. Now you're the guy. The young guys are coming to ask questions for. You know, so talk to us about you coming home to Alaska.
Initially, if I can be 100% honest, because I loved my role and I loved my teammates at Coke, I was like, why? Why am I being traded? You know, it's 2004. I have 9 years under my belt.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still have a couple good years, it being my prime before they start calling you old. You know, why am I being moved? And, you know, God has a plan for you. And I really, truly believe that. I was really questioning, you know, you question Coach Chot and you wonder why he would do it. But then again, there's a lot of stuff, you know, that, you know, honestly, we can't discuss on why things transpired that way. But me being traded back to Alaska at that moment, you know, I was like, why, you know? But then the minute I put on the Alaska uniform, I knew I had to, again, like we've been doing in our career, is adjust. It's really just adjust. So, but this adjustment wasn't as bad or wasn't as challenging. Why do I say that? Because I'm going to Alaska. This is the team that drafted me.
Yeah.
Coach Tim made it clear how bad he really wanted me back, and I appreciate again him, you know, making things happen for me to return.
Yeah.
Like I said, 9 years under my belt. I still have about maybe 2 or 3 years where I felt like I was still in my prime. Again, before they start calling you old. So at that point, you know, one of my biggest responsibility was I now was what Johnny was to me when I moved to Coke. So Johnny was, again, at the sort of the tail end of his career, you know, the start of the tail end. So that was my role at Alaska for guys like Mike Cortez and Brandon Cablai and Juan Aliado, Sonny Toss, of course.
Yeah.
So that was actually Sonny's first year. So he got drafted early that year, and then I came in mid-season. And, you know, Sonny and I have been, you know, together for a while. So he's really a special guy. But yeah, you know, coming back was again, a different responsibility. But more importantly, I was still able to be given the time to perform and to play the game that I love and to try to help the team that drafted me, you know, again, be back on top.
You know, Coach, 2007 finals. Ironically, you win another title with Alaska with another great point guard on your team, Willie Miller. So how was that first title with, you know, Alaska again, and how was it playing with a guy like Willie Miller?
Willie is, there's no question why he's was the MVP twice.
Yeah. Two-time
So
MVP.
his ability to score is unbelievable. He just, there's so many times you would call people automatic, but Willie's automatic, and he's crafty. He knows how to get to the basket. He's a good shooter. So playing alongside with him, where he's almost an automatic, automatic 2 points, he made my job easier. So that responsibility was shifting a little bit, and a little bit was given more to him, and we were trusting our big guys even more. And Sonny was starting to evolve a little bit, so we always got him the ball down low. And then we had a few years with LA Tenorio, who again,
LA.
he's still playing now. So, exactly. So he turned, he turned out to be okay, right? LA, yeah, he's all right.
He's all right,
he's all right guy, yeah.
He's one of the greatest point guard ever.
Exactly. So that hasn't missed a game in like 20 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So those are the guys that I was fortunate enough to play early in their career. So again, it was fun. We were coached well, and we just enjoyed each other.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm trying to bring back to the guys now, is just enjoying each other, having fun playing together, without you even admitting it, but even enjoying the times where there's a struggle. When you're losing, when your things are going bad, but so that was a special time too.
Coach, you mentioned earlier when you got traded to Alaska, you were asking why, because you told us you think you still have 2 or 3 more years in your prime. But I want to ask, how was it? How did you handle the big change? Because there was a big change of scene when you got traded to Alaska, because the last time you were there, you were the one looking up to the veterans, but now they were the one looking up to you. And if I may add, during that time, you were the only remaining active player who won the Grand Slam in 1996. So how did you embrace, how fast did you embrace that change of scene?
Crazy.
Right. I don't think it took long for me to embrace it. So again, the word that I used earlier was, there's another adjustment. Yeah. And as a professional, you have to go through that in your career, and that's life. That's really how life is. I always liked. I'm not saying I'm not perfect, but I always try to count my blessings. And going to Alaska was still a blessing, So again, coaching, the culture there. They were the team I used to play for. We always had, kind of that attitude that, we needed to overachieve to win. So those are things that kind of described me, that I was happy and familiar with. So adjusting to that wasn't really too difficult. Now, your small adjustments are things like all of a sudden they start to call you Kuya.
Yeah.
So you go from Jeff,
unusual.
you go to Jeff to Kuya, and you're like, okay, I guess I am starting to be the vet guy. Yeah, wait. Exactly, that's what I said. I said, hey, don't call me Kuya, call me Jeff.
Take it easy.
But yeah, like I said, it's all a part of it. I embraced the responsibility of trying to help my teammates be better, not just off the court, not just on the court, but off the court. And again, that helped improve my leadership skills. And one thing I've learned is relationships are important. You have to establish relationship with your teammates, with your staff, with the people that's in your team, for you to be able to grow, for you to be able to learn. So again, those are all aspects now that I'm a coach that I'm happy I went through, because those are the things I learned and I'm trying to apply now. So again, at the time, I'm like, why? I didn't know I was going to coach it, but so, you just handle it the best way you could.
So, Coach, 2010 final season, one last championship for you with LA, with Cyrus Baguio, your team. How was it? Did you first before the season started? Did you know that was your last season? And after winning the finals, did you reconsider and playing another year? Because that
I,
happened in the past, right?
that has, yeah. A lot of people be like,
They're
this name,
reconsidering
this
after
name.
winning a title.
Right.
Yeah, you were
Right.
fresh from.
Yeah.
I
So,
honestly, guys, knew I was gonna retire at that year.
mm,
So that 2010 season, I told Coach Tim before the start of the season that this will be my last year. So, again, man, we can talk all night about that 1 year because there was a lot of challenges, there's a lot of ups
yeah.
and downs. And me personally, and I was at the end of my career. So, there's a lot of things that, again, I use the word adjusting to. So, but again, why was that team special? Was because, aside from Coach Tim's team always being special and always being ready, it was to me. I looked at it as, I've decided it's going to be my last year, and I wanted to go out, with a bang. I wanted it to
Yeah.
end in a positive way. So, what more positive can it be than to win a championship on your
Yeah.
lap? So, I was able to achieve that or help achieve that, and again, blessings. I cannot complain.
Yeah, because I remember that series. That was the first final series that I actually watched. And
Okay.
seeing Cyrus, seeing LA do their
Yeah.
thing, it was just amazing. And I know you have Diamond Simpson at that time.
Yeah, Diamond
As an
Simpson was
emperor,
my
right?
emperor.
See, so it was
Yeah.
really, really cool for me to see. That was the first actual final series that I actually watched. So,
Yeah.
go on, Vic. I just want to
I, I,
share that. Sorry.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you how old you were. So
At that time,
it
1998,
make me feel bad.
I think
That was
12. I was
Yeah, we were
12 at that
that was
time. 12.
2010. Oh, you were
Yeah,
12.
I was
Okay.
12. See, so
Not too young.
yeah, not too young. I was old enough to know better. So go on, Vic.
Coach, a year after your retirement, a year after the championship, you were back at the court again, but this time you were in a different point of view. You were in the sides, you were coaching.
You're wearing
Uh,
suit and tie now.
yeah, you were
Right.
wearing that long sleeve. How was it compared to the last time you were there? You were the one being coached at. Now you were the one coaching the guys. How
Right.
how was the experience?
Different. It was different. So you're still kind of carrying the vibes of a player.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
now your mental adjustment or change or shift is now you're a coach. So
Yeah.
you have to present yourself as a coach. You have to approach yourself as a coach, and then you have to prepare as a coach. So you know, coaches when they prepare, it's really all mental, right? So a lot of studying, a lot of watching
Yeah.
video. Um, when you prepare as a player, it's just on the court. You sweat, you're physical. You get right into you get right down and dirty. So that was an adjustment for me. Where how can I be a better coach was the question. What is my role and what is my goal each and every day? Again, those are questions I ask each and every day. What can I do to make the players better? So what was nice was the reason why I started coaching was again Coach Tim. So
Yeah.
Coach Tim, I probably owe my basketball career to because he's the one who drafted me as a player, and he's the one who picked me up as a coach. So
Yeah.
that was when he first moved from Alaska to San Mig Coffee,
Sandwich coffee.
right? Or I think it was
BMEG.
BMEG
at that
BMEG.
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, BMEG. Okay. So there was a lot of teaching that was happening there, especially at the beginning with that BMEG team. And we were all trying to get them to run the triangle. And that was when I felt comfortable. And, because I've been running for so many years,
Yeah.
now I'm teaching it. So it wasn't too difficult. So that aspect wasn't difficult. Then I started to enjoy. We started to get positive results. You get the trust of the players. And then you just kind of build from there. And then it snowballs into something nice and something special also.
So, coach, how was that feeling when, first game Instead of you running out there on the court doing their layup drills,
Yeah.
now you're on the sidelines with
Yeah.
Johnny and
Yeah.
Coach
with Johnny.
Tim.
Right.
How was
Right.
it coaching with Johnny and
Yeah.
coaching with Coach Tim now instead of
Right.
planning? Okay, let's do this in the court. Now you're
Yeah.
just instructing your players to do what you want to do on the court.
You know what was a different challenge also and a different adjustment. So this is the word for this segment is adjustment. Okay, that's the word. One adjustment I had to also make was, remember, as a player and then Coach Tim, there's always player or Coach Tim, players.
Yeah.
So there's always that division. So I didn't have to be with him all the time because he was my coach, right?
Yeah.
You know, plus if you're a coach, you don't want your players always with you, right? You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But as a coach, now I'm with Coach Tim almost every second at practice, during the games. We huddle, we talk on the side. I've never done that before, right?
Yeah.
So that was different. But again, that was all part of the learning curve, the learning process of being a coach. But again, as much as I enjoyed him coaching me, I enjoyed, again, just being able to listen to him coach and to hear what he had to say. But again, he was that special because Matt, you know, he was able to give me that opportunity. So sorry, I didn't answer your question. What was the question?
How about Johnny? You know.
Oh,
Did you guys have
and then
the
going into the
conversation?
games, right? Yeah, going into the games.
Yeah.
We're walking in like Coach Johnny and I are so used to, like, great, let's go, warm up, lay up. And all of a sudden we're walking slow and
Man.
we kind of, when it's the first time, you really don't know where to stand. Like, saan ba ako tatayo? Saan ba ako rito? Do I sit down? Do I go watch the guys? You know, it was really different. But, you know, again, you know, quick adjustments, you know, you learn to adapt. So not a problem.
Yeah.
Coach, a year after Coach Tim tapped you to be his assistant, you found yourself, you know, in the sidelines watching Denzel Bowles in the 2012 Commissioner's Cup. You know, that was Game 7 against Talk and Text. You know, he really took over the game. You know, he you know, he sank those free throws and he took over in overtime. So how was that experience? Because that was your first championship as an assistant coach, right?
Right.
So how was that experience?
Hang on, Coach. Before you answer your question, and it's obvious he's very hyped. He's a big BMX fan. He's a big James.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I'm
hated
actually
that team.
starstruck. I'm actually starstruck.
Oh no.
I hated that team. I hated it. You guys won championship after championship. So go on, Coach.
You know what? But
Give me the point.
just to comment on what you just said, I think I was hated probably throughout my whole career. I was always on the team. People were like, I hated Cariaso. I hated Coke, you know, and I love that. You know, that was my challenge going into the game. But to answer your question, Miguel, Denzel Bowles was, again, you know, he's what this is why he's special and why he keeps coming back. No, it's because, again, he's your perfect import. He knows how to adapt to the culture and how it is here in the Philippines, and he's a great teammate that performs. And I think that was it being his first conference. That was fantastic with how he just carried us, and he made sure to set that dagger. And you know, that's what we need the imports to do. That's what you need your main guys to do, is to be clutch, and he was clutch for us. You know, this is a conversation of a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share something with you. So you go to the extreme of winning a championship, and Denzel, you know, there was an and one situation, right?
Yeah.
He got the offensive rebound back. He shot the free throw. We won. Okay, whatever. We're champions, right? Denzel Bowles. What a great conference. Okay. The first week he was in the Philippines, the whole team went to a team building, and I think it was in Cagayan. We went to a team building in Cagayan. Okay. So Coach Sim likes to do, you know, a lot of things with the team. So in Cagayan, we would do things like white water rafting, you know. So we'd get on a boat, we'd go river rafting, if I'm saying
water
it correctly.
sports. Yeah.
Water sports, right? And then there was a portion where the next day we did what's it called when you climb a mountain, right? And then you go down. May tawag dun eh.
Rappelling.
You fell down, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
rappelling down. Lost
Yeah.
for words. I'm so excited to tell the story. So imagine Denzel, we go to a hike. So we're hiking through the woods, water, we're having fun, everyone's enjoying, you know. Denzel's probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm in the jungle in the Philippines. Where the hell am I?" You know? Probably thinking. So we're trying to make him comfortable, diba? Ang daming lamok, diba?
Yeah.
Nainitan siya, you know, he's thirsty, you know. So to end the trek, there was a small little, I don't want to say a mountain, but you know, like a big rock that we had to rappel down to the water, and that ended our trek.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, we were watching Denzel from the top, and just because there's a portion where you're here, you're holding on, and then you have to kind of lean back,
Yeah.
right? And then you have to trust it, and then you go down. And he couldn't. It took him a long time to do that part. It took him a long time, and we felt so bad for him. We really did. We felt so bad for him. So eventually he was able to do it. There was a boat not a boat, but
Raft.
a little raft that you get on, and then it brings you to the beach. So we're all waiting in the beach, and we're all watching him. Then Denzel walked on the sand, right? Walked on the beach, sat down on a rock, and did not talk to anyone for like 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, we were just like he was in, you know, I think he was scared, and I was scared too. Don't get me wrong, but we were able to do it. But he was scared, and it was his first week in the Philippines. I was telling the guys, I go, guys, pagbalik natin sa Manila, wala na yan, uuwi na yan. Sabi ko.
But he wasn't
Diretso
angry
na
with
yan
you guys.
States, yeah.
He wasn't angry with you guys. He wasn't
Say it again.
angry. But he wasn't angry with you guys.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all. We were just kind of scared, you know. We were all scared.
Can you imagine?
But yeah, imagine going from that to winning the championship. Yeah, and he's 6'9", exactly. Exactly.
Big.
Rappelling down the side of a
And
mountain or something.
You have this little 5'4" Filipino guy saying, "Okay, sir, let go. We're gonna hold it, right?" And he's 6'9", and weighs 40, right? So yeah,
that was a great story, Coach.
Really, really fun time. Really fun time.
Yo, talking about 6'9" players, you played with a 6'9" or 6'8" player back in Coca-Cola, and during your time with BMEG and Sanmig, you coached him. How was it coaching Rafi Rivas? Because, you know, the last time you two guys were together, you won a couple of championships, and now, you know, you're coaching him. You won your first championship together. How was it? How was coaching Rafi?
Well, you know, Rafi was one of those guys that, you know, that also made my transition easy. You know, he was still playing, I'm coaching, but we used to play together. So there was already a connection there, and that helps. You know, when you establish that relationship, that helps. But Rafi was easy to coach. He was easy to be with. I kind of talked to him the same way I talked to him when we were teammates. You know, there was always times where I'd correct him and make sure he was in the right place, or, you know, encourage him. But you know, what's nice about a guy like Rafi is he understands his role. And, I don't think, you know, BMEG or eventually them winning a Grand Slam would have been possible if guys like Rafi didn't fully understand their roles, and they did their roles well. So, you know, we needed those guys like him to win. That's just plain and simple. So yeah, Rafi, you know, good friend, and again, he made my first year, my first conference coaching fun.
So, Coach, I just don't want to let it go right away. Let's take it back to your first championship in BMEG, because I really hated that team. I really hated that moment. Up to this day, I'm still bitter about it. So you kind of had the same situation back when you were in Alaska. You had to take crucial free throws as well after a somewhat controversial foul, right? I think it was your third
That was
championship.
all Filipino. That was all Filipino, and it was the first
Yeah.
one of the Grand
Oh,
Slam.
the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Denzel was kind of in the same situation. So
Right.
looking at that moment, did it brought you back to that Alaska days? And what
Um,
were did you tell him something before he went to the free throw line?
well,
'Cause
Yeah.
everyone's booing,
at,
everyone's
at
cheering.
that point, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to make him more nervous.
Mm.
But I do really remember me sitting down, and at that point, coaches, you guys you're on the side. You don't count right now. It's really the players, no? So,
Yeah.
um, at that moment, I was really more than anything just praying that he would be relaxed to be able to shoot his free throws. So praying that he would make it. Of course, we wanted to win, but at that point, there's not much you can do. But again, the difference with being a former player, you being in the position to be given the opportunity to shoot free throws, compared to now you're on the sideline and you're watching,
Yeah.
and there's absolutely nothing you can do. You can't do anything. As much as you want to make sure, hey, make sure you follow through or make sure you're relaxed. There's nothing you can do. So, at that point is really just sit there and pray. And luckily God answered our prayer.
So like I said, 4 championships. I mean, you cannot deny it. And a big reason about that one is the big three: James,
Yeah.
yeah, PJ Simon, Mark Pingris. Talk to me about what was it feel like coaching those three guys? Have you ever seen a trio that good on the court?
That's a real good question, CD.
Oh.
To be honest with you, they're up there. These three, they're up there in regards to probably, skills wise, performance wise, playing together, being clutch, and then understanding roles. Those three are will remain very special to me. Not just a big part is the basketball wise, the basketball aspect. I hope that I was able to bring in a perspective to help them a little bit, in their game and their skills. But these guys are performers, and they really are superstars of this league. And why I started with that is this, because as much of them being just awesome players, they're actually better people. And I
Mm.
and I mean that. And I really mean that. So Miguel, you'll be proud of your boys. So that's
Yeah.
your team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I am. Actually,
So
am. Actually.
so your boys, your boys are just, they're awesome off the court.
Yeah.
I don't say that often. I played with a lot of good guys, and a lot of these guys are good friends, best friends of mine up to this day. But these three, with Ping and PJ and James, they're special on the court because they're awesome basketball players, but
Yeah.
they're also better people. And I can attest to that. And again, at Alaska, we talk about character all the time, and winning the right way, and playing with integrity. So these guys have that. And they would be perfect Alaska players. They would be perfect Alaska players. So that's my share about the big three.
Coach, during the 2013-2014 Philippine Cup, it was a slow start for the Mixers. They started at 3-7, and then they finished at 7-7 before finishing eventually champions. But I just want to ask, because oftentimes when Tim Cohen would go into outburst, he'd be ejected after getting two technicals, and you would hold the board, the play board, and you would be the one drawing plays. You would be the one taking over. So I just want to ask you, how did you handle the pressure, since you guys were on the verge of an early exit after being crowned a champion in last year's conference, the 2013 Governors Cup? Now you were on the verge of an early exit. I just want to ask, how did you guys handle the pressure?
Well, I think one thing that Coach Tim is really awesome about is when things are tough, he'll go back to basics. So when you're struggling, you take a step back. You assess, you reassess what you're doing, and you take a step back and you go back to basics. You go back to what made you good. So I think with the experience that this team had at that point, they've already won championships. They know the feeling already. We may have started slow, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot with teams that have championship, experience. Is more often than not, some conferences they start slow, but they know when to turn it on. They know when to step on the gas. They'll use experience to step on the gas and be able to get you guys going. So for us, it was really small goals. Make sure we make the playoffs. And in the playoffs, make sure we're focused and we're almost at the top of our game. And then semis and finals, obviously, you hopefully play at the top of your game. So, small goals like that are reachable is and going back to basics is what we did. So not really a big secret, I think that's the kind of team that Coach Tim has. And it's because of that's his approach, and again, things that you learn as a player and you remember.
Well, it's only fitting what you said, Coach, because the next conference, you guys were again, you won another championship in the 2014 Commissioner's Cup. That was the third straight repeat. I just want to ask, prior to getting the championship, Coach, it was announced that you'll be taking over the head coaching duties of Barangay Ginebra. So I think if you look into the bigger picture, that was your last ride or last conference with San Mig, and you were en route to your third straight championship. So how fulfilling was that, since you defeated Talking Tex in 4 games? Yeah, 4 games. James Yap, he took over in the final 5 minutes of that game. How fulfilling was that championship?
Well, again, that's how we always describe things. And, every once in a while you can win one, right? You have an opportunity to win one championship.
Yeah.
But what makes you special is when you can win consistently. So again, that being our third, and in a row, and to be able to overcome and win it again, that just shows the attitude and the consistency of the team. It shows the attitude and the consistency of Coach Tim's teams. So we were like that at Alaska, where we'd win, championships. He comes over to BMEG, and it's the same thing. And again, this is why he's the most, the number one coach here in the Philippines, is because, again, his ability to turn teams into consistent championship teams. And yes, we had the talent, but what Coach Tim brought was really just making everyone work as one engine, and that's why we were able to achieve that. So was it special? Yes. Was it at that point you just like the feeling of being champions, and you never want to give that up, So when someone is challenging you and it seems like it's being taken away from you slowly, then you kind of wake up, and then you reassess, you adjust, and then you step on the gas again.
Yeah.
So that's what that team did. And to end it to end like that before I moved to Ginebra, again, very special and very unique.
So, Coach, I don't know if you noticed, but Miguel didn't research about any of what he said. He just knows it. He's that big of a fan.
He just knows it.
He's awesome. Just that big of a fan.
It's here. It's here. It's all here in here. Yeah.
Good job.
So after
I appreciate it.
After your stint with that San Mig and BMEG team, now you're with my team, Barangay Ginebra.
I hate that team.
Now you're on my side. Now we can talk about this one, Coach. Talk to me about your transition with that team, because aside from the team itself, the fan base is extremely different. Because
no doubt,
when you're winning, they got your back, but when you're losing, you're gonna hear it.
Right.
And it wasn't the best run when you were there with the Barangay Ginebra. So talk to me about that experience, Coach.
Well, that was an opportunity that came up, and it was a difficult move, to be honest with you, because I honestly did not want to move yet.
Yeah.
Remember, we just won 2, right, Migs? We just won 2, right, that year.
Yeah.
So what happened the next conference? Who won it?
Sandvik, you want
Right.
they won Grand Slam.
They won a
They won
Grand
the
Slam.
Grand Slam.
So
Yeah.
I missed out on an opportunity to win a championship as a player and as a coach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Coach Johnny has that under his belt, and
Yeah.
but that's why it was difficult, because I was like, wait, we have one more conference. Can it be at the end of the year? I'd really like to just stay first, hone my skills a little bit more, my coaching skills, and then possibly give me an opportunity at the end of the year. But it's really a call by the big boss, and I really had no choice but to do it right then and there.
Yeah.
So do I regret it? Absolutely not. When I look back at it, I think of my stint there. It was challenging and it was tough. It was your typical first year coaching blues. So all the things that you go through, all the things that you experience, were all things that I think all coaches go through eventually. More often than not at the beginning, and that was mine. I don't think it was too bad. We made the quarters both conferences.
Yeah.
So we still made the playoffs. But again, it's another level to be able to get guys to consistently win in the playoff to give yourself a chance in the championship. But yeah, I don't regret it at all. CD, I know that's your team. I love the fan base. They were very supportive. And to the point of them letting you hear it when you weren't winning.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's everywhere. That's in every team. It's just more with them because they have more fans. Right?
Yeah, that's true. You'll hear it from everywhere.
Everywhere. So it doesn't matter what team you are. I mean, you can coach your local barangay league, tapos pag natalo kayo, di ba, marami kayong narinig here, di ba? So it's part of it. But again, that stint with the Nebra has it really lifted me as a coach. There's a lot of learning from there, and I value the experience that I went through during that time.
So, Coach, I know you tried the triangle with the Nebra. How was it trying to implement it on your own this time?
It was fun. I don't think it was difficult. I had guys like Richard and Coach Olsen help me who have run it before. It was just not enough time. 2 conferences is not enough time. So, possibly there was there was also a feeling that, it was restricting a lot of the players.
Yes.
So, at Ginebra, the way they play, you know how it is. They defend, they get the rebound, and they go, right? So I think just there was too short of a time for us to learn fully what the triangle allows you to do. It's a natural feeling that you'll kind of feel restricted from playing, but once you fully understand the triangle, it's really the opposite. There's really so many opportunities, and it doesn't hinder you from playing your game. But that's my answer there. Just not enough time.
So, Coach, with Ginebra, you were able to coach another pair of legends in the Fast and Furious duo, in Mark and JJ. So, how was it coaching those 2 guys compared to the trio that they coached with Sadmig, Bimig?
Right. With those 2, I think it was a little bit more challenging because those are the guys I played against a lot during my career.
Yeah.
So, there was a shift that needed to be made. And, I honestly cannot say if that shift was 100% made on their end. And I don't blame them. These guys are the vets of that team. I was always against Ginebra from day one. My whole career I played against them. And, I wasn't a Ginebra guy. I'm
Yeah.
not. I really am not. So when these guys were, baga from birth, never.
Yeah, there've been the inevitable.
So challenges there. Um, right. There were challenges there, and that going alongside that, it was probably the last 3 years maybe of both their careers. I'm talking about the heydays where they play a lot. I know Mark's still
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
The
He's
good
not
years.
the good years. So there was the last couple years of that. And I know JJ just recently retired, right? Last year or a
Yeah.
couple years ago. It was a couple years. Okay. So so they're still holding on to that, which is fine because I did that. I really did. But again, you can tell you'll realize when you get to know these two why the fans love them, why they love them so much. And again, they're warriors on the court, and then they're real humble and good guys off the court. And for the most part, that's really what I like about those two guys, and actually comparing them to the three in the same manner, in the same way. Did we always see eye to eye? Probably not.
Nah.
And again, there's that friction of me being a young coach, and they used to guard me, and I used to guard them. So and it's a difficult situation. It was a difficult situation for me because it was it was different from the things I'm used to. So I'll just leave it like that.
I'll be honest, coach. I was actually mad at JJ and Mark during that time because, like, you guys are old. Like, give it up. Like,
Yeah.
give the opportunity to the young guys. But like you said, they're the legends.
Right.
They've proven
Right.
themselves. They deserve that spot. I was just,
Right.
oh, we need to win.
They actually, I don't really blame them on how they were feeling during that time because I actually felt that way.
Yeah.
So it's really how you handle it. So how you handle it. So it's not difficult, guys. As a player, di siya madali.
Yeah, for sure it is. For sure it is.
You mentioned earlier that you didn't want to transfer. You weren't ready to transfer. You weren't ready to leave the mixers earlier before the Governor's Cup. But when that buzzer sounded in Game 5 of the Governor's Cup, when Arizona Reed wasn't able to sink his three, and San Mig was hailed as a Grand Slam champion once and for all, what was your reaction seeing your former team, a team you helped form, a team you pushed to the limit, reach the promised land?
Well, I felt really happy, honestly. That was a genuine happiness I had for those guys because, one thing I've learned, guys, CD and Miguel, one thing I've learned in my career, and then again, what's our word for this segment is adjustments, right?
Yeah.
Is once you make a change, you can't look back. You can't look back. You just have to look forward and be positive and do your best here. I was coaching. I had an opportunity to coach and be a head coach. So that's a blessing already. Okay. So when they won it, really just true, genuine happiness I had for the guys. Was there a little bit of ingot there? Of course. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have been a part of it.
You were so close. You were so close.
But again, you count your blessings and you move forward.
Looking back at it, coach, it was kind of like the same situation with you when you were with Alaska as a player, right?
What do you mean?
Like, you're leaving the team who was coming off a championship for a better position, right? It's kind of like
exactly. So what was my blessings during that time?
Yeah.
I was playing more for sure.
Scoring more.
You're right. So that's what, as players, that's what you love.
Yeah.
So it's give or take. You can't have it all.
You can't have it all.
That's what I tell the young guys. You can't have it all.
So, coach, after your go, may tanong ka pa, Mig. Sige.
No. So let's move forward after that stint with the Kings. It's only fitting, coach, that you would be returning to Alaska. When you return to Alaska, your career. Actually, we were talking about this, and we were actually considering it as your career went full circle when you became an assistant coach of Alaska. So talk to us, coach. How was it coaching under Alex Compton's tutelage?
It was, I think, very valuable to the coach I am now. So
Yeah.
I made it a point. So even when I jumped in with Coach Tim and I was a head coach at Ginebra, and then now being an assistant again for Alaska, there's a continuous learning that coaches have to understand. They have to go through. So
Mm-hmm.
I went back to the drawing board. So I was happy that Alaska was able to give me the opportunity, because it was a rare, again, this is a story most people don't know, during the time where it came out and spin that I was being removed from
Yeah.
Ginebra. Um, that same day, it was funny. That same day, I saw Governor Dickie Bachman at a mall in
Yeah.
BGC. Just happened
Yeah.
to see him, and he was my former teammate, so we've always been
Yep.
friends. So we had a good talk, and at that time, no one was telling me anything what was happening, except for I was reading things in the paper. So
Mm.
that I was, gonna be fired or changed or
Yeah.
whatever, blah blah blah. So seeing Dickie, I think wasn't an accident.
It was a
So
sign.
again, it was possibly a sign. So when it happened that day, we quickly spoke maybe 2 or 3 days later. From my understanding, Governor spoke to Boss Dickey, spoke to Boss Fred, and then they both spoke to Coach Alex, who was the head coach at the time, and they said it was probably a good idea. They allowed me to be part of the staff. So so I was able to jump on the staff, and my approach again was to learn, to do what it is that Coach Alex wanted me to do in regards to my role, um, and then just to be able to hopefully share things as a head coach to him, so that will also kind of challenge him and make him better and in his decisions and how he runs a team. But at that point, we also had Coach Louis there, who was a
Yeah.
head assistant coach, right, the first
Yeah.
assistant. Coach Topex, also a good guy, good
Yep.
coach. So we had a lot of guys who had good basketball minds, and it was fun. It was really fun learning again. It was different team again, so there was an adjustment that needed to be made. But the feeling of being comfortable and safe at Alaska was there, because again, I felt like I was going home.
Yeah.
So, Coach, how was it, entering the locker room now, instead of sitting alongside Sonny, now you're, coaching him, telling him, hey, Sonny, you need to do this.
Yeah.
How was that feeling? Because I know you had Sonny as a rookie. Now you're having him as a
Right.
player.
Right. And he's a vet now,
Yeah,
so
he
Yeah,
was
he's a
vet.
vet.
one of the, they call him the big. They don't call him the big boss for nothing. But what's great about Sonny also, and again, it's there's only few that I can mention, but
Yeah.
he's in the lines of those guys who are great players, but also great people. Sonny he's just a really nice guy, and he's a family oriented guy. He understands the values and the type of team that Alaska is. He'll be your number one example when it comes to making sure that the culture is displayed each and every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking to Sonny wasn't again any different from how I used to talk to him when I was a player. So again, that transition, being able to talk to him, and him feeling comfortable talking to me even as a coach, was always there. And again, it just made everything easier, and it made it fun.
Coach, this guy, Calvin Abueva, he's an old school guy. That's what my dad calls him, because he'll just be on your face. Even as a young guy, he's just full of energy, doesn't
Yeah.
back down against anyone. So how
Yeah.
was it coaching this guy? Was it hard to control him? Or how was it?
The challenge there, CD, is without saying too much, because it's very difficult, because Calvin does have his problems, and he does have his issues. He really does. And I think he's on the right path now.
Yeah.
I pray that
And
he'll be
we're
able
happy
to
for him,
return.
you know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
pray that he'll be able to return because, if you know his story, and I'm sure you know a little bit of his story,
Yeah,
he deserves a chance to come back.
Yeah.
definitely.
But again, you have to do your part. When you return, you have to do your part, and you have to show that you've changed. You have to show that you have learned something, and you have to kind of, you know, display yourself in a manner where you have matured. And I think if he does, if he is given an opportunity, I think he will show that. So um, that's my take on Calvin and his situation. But was he hard during that time? Honestly, he was a little challenging. It was a little challenging. It was hard for me personally to step over any lines because I wasn't the head coach.
Yeah.
So, the best we could do as a staff is advise our head coach on the best way that we thought, and things that we could do to kind of support Calvin, but at the same time, making sure he understands what it really means when you say culture of Alaska. So, I just feel like Calvin at the time, he just had a lot of stuff going on outside the court, and it affected him on the court. And but is he a good guy? I honestly think he is a good guy. I think he's misunderstood. But I also tell him that I understand that people misunderstand you or you're
Yeah.
misunderstood, but I also see why they see you this way.
Yeah.
Ito kasi yung ginagawa mo, ito yung pinapakita mo. So that's why they think this way. So
Yeah.
what was nice was I was able to talk to Calvin that way. But again, awesome talent. He hasn't, there's no limit to his motor. He's like a motor that just runs 100 miles per hour over and over again.
Yeah.
And he's passionate about winning, and
Yep.
he shows you, right?
Yeah.
So
There's no question.
I wish he was still with Alaska. I wish he was still with us.
Man, off court, fine, that's his issues, but on court, he's just the beast.
Yeah,
He's really
man.
the beast.
You can't deny that. You can't deny that.
That's
Go on,
actually true, guys. You can't deny what he does on the court. And
Yep.
when he starts to allow the antics get to him, then that's what kind of
That's-
makes him,
Yeah.
that's what
That's the
shifts him
problem.
to another person. Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Now,
Go on,
Coach,
Mig.
4 years after you were picked as an assistant coach, finally, you'll be spearheading Alaska as head coach. But, I just want to ask you, what was your initial reaction upon hearing the news of Coach Alex being sacked or being fired as the head coach? After 15 seasons, he brought Alaska to 5 finals appearances. But now, you'll be replacing him. So what was your initial reaction upon hearing that news?
Well, to be honest with you, I was on vacation with my family when I first heard the news. So, it's one of those things where was it kind of lingering a little bit? Was there something off? And I can honestly say that there was something different, something off that I hadn't seen in the first 2-3 years. So, this was a decision made by management and Boss Fred. And, it's one of those things where everything is evaluated.
Yeah.
Everything is discussed. So you do what you think is best for the team. So at that moment, I cannot comment on the reasons. I cannot comment on why, but there was a decision that was made, and they soon after asked me if I wanted the opportunity to take over. And that's really how life is as a coach, and I think people know that. It's not easy being a coach, you're expected you're expected positive results and good results, and there's only one result that you want, and that you want. And so again, in all sports, in all all levels, all over the world, it's difficult, to make a decision like this, but sometimes it has to be made. yeah, when that happened, I was on vacation and I was given a call, and they asked me, management asked me, Boss Dicky and Boss Fred asked me if I'd like the opportunity to coach. And you know, I was the first assistant the last year of Coach Alex,
Yeah.
and as a first assistant, and even as an assistant when I first started with Coach Tim,
Yeah.
I heard a quote by Popovich that I'll never forget. He said, if my assistant coaches don't, eventually, if they don't want to ever be a head coach, then I don't want them on my staff. So we want guys on my staff who have the foresight or the goal and the passion to eventually be a head coach.
Yeah.
And that didn't change. So when there's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to coach a team that you played for, that drafted you, right? It only makes sense. And I think for me, this is a unique experience because I played for Alaska for 8 years. And like I said, they drafted me. I ended my career with them. I humbly say that they retired my number, in the organization. And then, so now I'm given an opportunity to coach. So, what a blessing. My road is still uncertain, of course.
Yeah.
But I know for sure that it's not going to be an easy one.
Yeah.
But again, that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
To me, all my life, Alaska at Coke, the challenges at Mobiline and Tanduay, me returning at Alaska. I mean, those are challenges that I think that you face. And how many times did we say adjustments tonight?
It's been a
A
while.
lot.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
That's going to happen. So,
Yeah. So, Coach, like I said, first, first time being the head coach of Alaska. Your first run wasn't the best, but it was pretty impressive because you guys started off 0-5 Governor's Cup.
Yeah.
But you guys finished the elimination round with 4 straight wins.
Right.
And you guys
Right.
were able to secure the 7th seed and take on Meralco at the quarterfinals.
Meralco lang,
So-
di masyado malakas.
Yeah, Meralco with Durham.
Durham,
Di masyado malakas, I
Di
agree.
masyado.
So,
So, I
you
mean,
guys
the way
were
you described it,
Yeah.
sorry, Sidi, the way you described
Yeah,
it
it's
was exactly that. You started slow, and again, what does that give you? I mean, at the beginning, come to mid, because I would say we turned the corner a little bit on a positive side from the middle of the conference
Yeah.
to the end, right? And it was really just time. It really just time. So I took over in between conferences. We had guys on a team who were also expiring. So that's a
Yeah.
different challenge. Going into that third conference, we had guys expiring. So there's all that challenges that you face. We had about 3 weeks to prepare. These guys are still getting to know me. I'm still getting to know them as a head coach. But so I was happy with us being able to turn the corner and making the playoffs. But of course, eventually losing to the number 2 seed. But again, going into the new season with the draft and with the trades, I think we were, we prepared well, and now I think we have a team that we're very, very confident with. I think we have players now who are both hungry, and we have a well-balanced team. I think from young to middle, veteran to vets. So. Again, we haven't had the chance to show what we got, but hopefully soon.
So, Coach, I just want to say something about your Governor's Cup run. I was already counting you out. I said, all right, Alaska is out.
Yeah, everyone did.
But I was very surprised when you guys were able to turn it on. And now, entering the Philippine Cup, you guys have a very, very deep lineup. Because from guards to forwards to centers, you can actually say you guys are complete in every position.
Yeah.
So, Coach, I need your fearless forecast for this season. If the Philippine Cup would return this year, how deep do you think can you guys go? Do you guys see a championship at the end of this conference or maybe this season?
First of all, I'm not 100% sure if we are complete. You know, we still got to find a guy that can guard Junmar and you know, and
that's pretty hard to that's really hard to find. You really can't find a guy that can actually guard Junmar.
That's true. That's true. But to your question, absolutely, CD, absolutely. We you know, mindset is and attitude is key. So we go into each and every day with thinking that we're gonna champion today. So we champion today, and then tomorrow we'll champion tomorrow, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game. So do we expect to be in the finals? Yes. Do we know it's going to be hard? Of course. There's so many other good teams there. Teams that you used to say were easy teams that you can guarantee a win are not guaranteed anymore. Teams are stronger. You know, there's a lot of trades that's been happening. You know, the strong teams are getting stronger. So will it be easy? Of course not at all. But do we still expect ourselves to be there? Of course. And I don't think you deserve to be going to practice every day if you don't have that mindset. So getting there again is the challenge, and being able to take the proper steps to get there and is really the key. So, you know, they always say the journey, right? The journey.
Yeah.
So, you know, one good thing is we're prepared for the journey. We're excited about it. We have guys who are hungry, who are healthy now, and we have a good core, and we have guys who are willing to play for each other, and that's really all you could ask for. And you know, hopefully, you know, we'll be given an opportunity and we'll be given a chance.
Coach, unlike any other team, you guys don't really have that main superstar. I mean, there's Vic Manuel, but then again, we haven't really seen him lead the team to a championship, a la Junmar Fajardo, right?
Right.
But your team is very, like I said, hungry and young. And one of the young guys that a lot of Alaska fans are expecting to step up is this guy Abu Tratter, and he has everything in order for him to improve. Danny I, Sunny Toss. I mean, he has a full package of guys to copy off. So talk to us about this man and what are your expectations for him this season, especially with Junmar Fardo out possibly for the rest of the year.
That's really you know, Abu is really one guy that we're excited about. So to trade him and have him join our team, I think was crucial because we know and we can see his potential.
Yeah.
And yes, there's really not going to be another Junmar Fajardo that we're going to be able to draft to guard Junmar or Greg. So you know, with a guy like Abu who has skills, and he does have skills, you know, for a big guy, he can dribble. For a big guy, he can attack the basket.
He has that
Danny I is working on his post moves. He's got a mid-range shot. It's really just the mental aspect now. Is you know, he's got to be mentally stronger, mentally tougher, and that's my challenge to him. So will I see a different Abu this season or this conference? I hope so. I hope the change has given him more confidence. But will I see a different Abu 2 years from now? And I would say yes. I would say, you know, he's definitely going to improve. He's definitely gonna understand what it takes to be successful here in the PBA. And you know, he has Sonny there and Danny to kind of guide him also. To go back to your mention about Vic, you know, I know he hasn't done it recently, but he has been a big part of the reason why we lost 5 championships in the past couple of years. So making it was a lot of it was Vic. So so he's going to be an important part. So he's my superstar. JV still has it. JV Casio, you know, he still has it. So he's a guy that has played under tremendous pressure, and he knows how to be clutch. And I'm expecting a better season from him. And then you got guys like Mike DeGregorio, who I think I think he's going to surprise you this conference. So he's going to be wonderful for us.
I do
And a
think
lot
so as well.
better. And then the two guys I picked up from your team, Miguel. Sorry, I had to steal
Yeah.
Robbie Herman and Rodney
Randiel.
Jal.
Yeah.
So again, those guys, Robbie's gonna have a breakout year. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm already calling it.
Yeah.
And then Rodney is he's that Rafi Rivas that no successful team will be possible without a guy like him.
Yeah.
So he's gonna play lots of minutes. So again, and you have we have our rookies.
Yep.
That we're high on. So we're excited. We're excited on what we can do and to get back on the court. So hopefully it's soon.
Yeah, actually, the moment Robbie was traded to the Hot Shots, I was actually waiting. I still am for that one breakout conference, because I see a lot of potential in him, as a fan and as a journalist, I see a lot. But Coach, talk to us about Coach Danny Ildefonso. How big of a morale boost does he put in the table? Since considering Danny Ildefonso, we all know what he did with Junmar Fajardo, right? So I just want to ask, how much boost does he put into the team?
Well, Danny he's a winner.
Yeah.
So Danny, he was a winner as a player. As a coach, he just loves to share. So well, where we value him the most is his ability to share and make you better on the court. But then what's as important is your mental toughness, that mental part. Going over video with players on decisions they made during the game. That's going to help our big guys. So I think, his perspective in the game and how to win and what to do and how to approach things, I think is really just the underlying most positive thing that we're getting from Danny. He's a winner and he shares everything he has. He's not selfish. Everything that he knows, he'll share it with the guys. So I think again, our big guys, being with him are going to change them, and they're going to change them for the better and for the positive. So how can you not have a guy like Danny? And then again, Coach Tony's still on board. I know he's a young coach.
Yep.
This would have been his first full year, or second full year, I'm sorry, as an assistant coach. Again, what Tony brings is, again, understanding the culture of Alaska, being able to prepare guys, and, being a champion also, knowing what it takes. So, again, we have two guys that I mentioned that, has won many championships, and it's the side stories that you value where guys learn the most. So that's what we appreciate.
Yeah. Coach, you made a lot of great points, and to the fans, I'm already calling it, and I'm not gonna say it because Coach Jeff is here. You guys have to watch out for Alaska because this team is.
Yeah, you really do.
Have to watch out for these guys, man.
Thanks,
you might be
guys.
shocked they're beating the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So,
Well,
Coach,
that means we're number 8, so we don't want to be number 8.
oh yeah. So, Coach, we've already talked about your whole career. So, overall, two guys have been consistently with you, and that is Coach Tim and Coach Johnny A. So, Coach Tim, let's talk about this, man. The greatest coach in the Philippine basketball history. How big of an impact is he to you? How is he to you? Do you see him as a father or as a friend, as a brother? What is he to you?
Wow. Let's just put it this way, and I'll repeat what I mentioned earlier. So, Coach Tim drafted me as a player. So he gave me my start as a player. Gave me the confidence. He gave me the opportunity. Coached me hard. He really did. When I messed up, then he let me know, and he'll be in my face. He was good in balancing when to be on me and when not to be on. He was good in building a relationship with me, where it was close but not too close. And he was a guy that, because we looked up to him as a head coach, he was a perfect example. We saw and we watched how he carried himself, how he spoke, what he talked about. So those are all things, those are all values that we learned from him. So, I don't think I'd be the player that I was without being under Coach Tim.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then he also gave me the opportunity to coach. So I was in the States. He was moving to San Mig
BMEG.
Coffee, no, BMEG, from Alaska, and he asked me to be part of the staff. So he, again, jump-started my coaching career and to a career that I'm presently doing now.
Yep.
And so, how much value is that? And it was a different relationship because I was with him more. I was talking to him more. I was listening to him more. And again, I was watching the examples that he set forward. So, to me, that explains how important Coach Tim is into my life. He gave me 2 opportunities. So, how can he not be special? He's one guy, call it everything, friend, mentor, father figure, everything. So, he's really one guy that I respect. He's one guy that I value the most. And he's one guy that I think, again, that I would not be in my position now without him.
Coach,
Well
aside
said,
from
Coach.
Coach Tim, you have another constant person in your career in Johnny Abarientos. And back when you were still playing, you guys, you played together, you got separated, then you got reunited.
Yes.
And then when you were coaching, you coached together, and now you're coaching against each other.
Right.
So how is Johnny Abarientos in your life? What impact does he have in your life and in your career?
Right. Johnny Johnny is special because when I first entered the PBA, he was one of 2 guys who really made and helped me with my transition.
Yeah.
So being a rookie, he was only 2 years ahead of me. So Johnny was drafted in, 3 years. He was drafted in 93 yata, so 2 years. And, he taught me how to be professional. And Johnny's demeanor and the way he approaches you is real easy. He'll approach you like a friend.
Yeah.
So, when he needs to correct you, he'll correct you as a friend.
Yeah.
So that was his style. So Coach Johnny was soft-spoken. He'll come up to you properly. He'll wrap his arm around your waist, and he'll tell you what you need to hear. Now, there are some players, Jojo was different. Bong Hawkins was different. Although our friendship remains and there's no difference between the 3, the style of Bong and Jojo was really be in your face. They'll let you know out loud that you need to do this, you need to do that. But Johnny was he was soft-spoken, easy to talk to. So, you're more comfortable with guys like that, right? And that's just plain and simple. So, so playing together, he just, again, I think he helped my career because, he had trust and confidence in me. And he showed me that he had confidence in me by passing me the ball.
Yeah.
So, even if I was the 4th option, it doesn't matter. 3rd option, 4th option. Because them 3, they were always first. And then Sean Chambers he's always up there too. So, I would be the 3rd or 4th option. So, and then to be able to play together in 2 different situations, 2 different times in my career, that there's a lot, again, that I learned from that. So playing together at Coke, where I'm also starting to become a vet, and he's also, that super vet that's just, constantly playing and still playing at a high level. One thing that I value with Johnny is our friendship never changed. The way we spoke to each other never changed. Still the same. There was so much respect with one another, and that helped again, and it showed in the locker room. Other players followed, and it made the locker room fun, and it made it a team. And again, it starts with a veteran like Johnny. So that's how special he is to me.
Well said, Coach. Well, Coach, 15 years. as a
15
player,
years.
Yeah.
as a coach, you're still going. So, if we'll give you a bathtub time machine and you can go back to any year you want, what would you change or tweak or adjust in your career? Is there a moment
Yeah.
that you'd want to?
Even just a little bit.
Honestly, guys, you probably go back to times when you feel like you could be better, right? So of course, you're not going to correct the good times. You keep that. But the time that was challenging for me, one was stuck into my mind was honestly that first talk and text championship that they won over us at Coke. And I mentioned earlier that I struggled during that series.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying any excuses, but that was the series where in game one, Asi got the offensive rebound underneath the basket, and I went to hard foul him from behind, and I hit his shoulder. And you know how big Asi is, right?
Yeah.
I hit his shoulder, and this finger here was dislocated. When I looked at my hand, it was pointing this way. So, I ran to the trainers, and what he did was he popped it back in. Yeah, he popped it just like your shoulder. You kind of put it back into place. And, no discredit to Patrick Fran and the way he defended me, but that series was probably my worst. Just horrible. I couldn't make a basket. I was terrible on defense. So if there was something I'd go back to that, where after I pop this back, I'd like an opportunity to be better. Yeah. To be tougher mentally. And to be better for my teammates. That's really what it is. So I'd probably say that.
How about that Centennial team?
Interesting.
I was actually expecting for you to answer that.
But see, you said your question was something that I would change, right?
Yeah.
Or I could change.
You wouldn't change it?
Or something I could change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, that was a decision of two coaches I won championships with, Coach Tim and Coach Chut. So those two made that decision for me to be the last guy that was gonna be cut.
Yeah.
So did it hurt? Of course. Oh gosh, painful. Painful. But again, it's how you handle it after, right? What was my mindset after that, right? So it's one of those things where I can't say I want to take that back, because there's a lot of good things that happen after that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I made the 2002 national team that went to Busan.
Yeah.
We won a championship with Coke twice.
Yep.
We won a championship with Alaska twice. So
Yeah.
what's to say if I would have made that team that it wouldn't have gone, things may have gone different afterwards. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Great
Sorry
answer.
disappointing you. Yeah.
It's all right, Coach. Coach,
That was actually good.
that was actually a great answer, Coach.
Yeah.
So, Coach, let's now go to off court. Let's talk about your life off court. I'm very excited about this topic because I'm a big Baker fan. I'm a big Titan fan.
Okay.
Titan. First of all, have you always been a shoe guy for you to have this kind of brand after your playing days?
Honestly, no. Like to be like a collector or a shoe guy, no, not really. Not really, to be honest. I had shoes. So one good thing that I have to mention, guys, and during my 15-year career is I was sponsored by Nike since my second year. So I was with them for 14 years. And I'd have to say that was probably one of the best relationships I had ever, because of the people that you meet, the brand that you're representing, right? And it allowed me to be kind of like an ambassador of the brand, and that leveled up my leadership skills, my responsibilities, and it made me a better person. So I say that because that's where I met my partner, who is our CEO here at
Yeah.
Titan, because he used to work for Nike. So Dennis Tan was a good friend of mine when I was still playing, and working for Nike. He knows the ins and outs of selling shoes. He knows the business.
Shoe game.
So it was really his great idea to start up this brand or this company, and he just happened to ask me to join it. So again, I was very lucky that he asked me, and I'm happy that he did, because 10 years later, Titan has grown to what it is now, and
Yeah.
he himself has said that he never would have thought it would have grown the way it is now. So we're very happy with the pathway that Titan has been taking the last few years.
Coach, I'm telling you, I'm a big shoe guy, and
Are you
Titan
really?
has always been a thing for me. That's where I buy
Right.
my shoes if I can. So,
Good.
Coach, I have to ask you this one.
Sure.
Out of all the guys that you've seen go in and out of Titan, who has the best sneaker game out of all the players in the PBA that you've seen?
Oh, interesting. This shoe game, and this attention to the shoe game. I mean, come on, CD. When has it really started? Maybe
Since Jordan era, since Jordan started putting up those kind of shoes, I
right,
think that's
but
when the sneaker game really
really
exploded.
exploded, right? But here in
Yeah.
the PBA, it didn't really start until recently, right?
Yeah.
I would have to say maybe less than 10 years ago, right?
Yep.
Less
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
when we started. One
Yeah,
is because it wasn't like in regards to having access to the shoes, it's not how it is now.
Yeah.
Before you couldn't get it, right? You had to have it delivered from the States or whatever, but it's different, right? The shoe
Yeah.
game, even just Nike, was different in regards to exposure all over the world. So so recently, if you just to ask your question, I mean, there's a lot of guys who are awesome with their pairs, but I wore the Jordan 11s when I was playing, and that was because again Jordan was
Yeah.
still. I mean, wasn't playing anymore, but it was still kind of hot, and a
Still
lot
the
of
guy.
right.
Yeah.
So now with the Kobe's and just
LeBron.
recently with the LeBrons, I would say, just to answer your question, one of the best shoe guys, or one of the best players with the best shoe game currently would probably Chris Ross, right? So he's one guy that because he'll use
Yeah.
he'll use the old school pairs. So sometimes those old Jordans are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't use that to play in. So how Jordan played in them, it's crazy. You can't
Yeah.
understand how he did it. So, but he still uses them. So he's one guy, I think, he's a Nike guy, so he also has access. But again, I'm kind of old school a little bit in that regards. I'll wear shoes. I like the up tempos. I used to wear the
Up tempo.
yeah. I used to wear the pumps of Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wore the Garnets, with the zipper. So, I wore the J Kids early in my career, the one that said the Pippins that said air.
Air.
Yeah.
Up tempos. Yeah.
Yeah, up tempos. Yeah. So
Crazy.
a lot of it's crazy now because everyone wears a different shoe every day, every
Yeah.
game. Again.
Isn't it crazy, Coach? Because back then, shoes are only for basketball or for running
Yeah.
or for sports.
Yeah.
Now people are using it for for style, for
Right.
a lot of things, right?
Right.
It's
Lifestyle.
really
Yeah.
crazy.
That's why I think, if I may share, where Titan was fortunate is because we jumped in a game in 2000 where retro was about to hit. It was hitting already, but it was about to hit the market hard.
Yeah.
And the retro wasn't used, like you said, to play. It was used for style, stylish.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the guys using it; it was the girls rocking the Jordans too. So that's what made it kind of stylish and very popular.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Ross. I know you always have the great shoes, man. Those Jordan
Yeah.
14s always catch my eyes.
Coach, I just want to ask, is there a certain player who inspired you to, push through with Titan? Is there someone?
There wasn't a player, Miguel, that pushed me to that. To be honest with you, so
Mhm.
I always share the story of, or I always remind people about how important relationships are,
Yeah.
because you never know. I mean, genuine relationships. You never know what it can lead to in the future.
Yeah.
So this relationship that I had with a lot of the Nike people, because I wanted it to be more than just, here I give you shoes, you wear them during the game, and you
That's
give
it,
Nike
yeah.
a shout out. I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted it to be so I would make sure I'd go to all the events. I was present in almost everything. When I would get pairs, I would pick it up myself.
Yeah.
I would go upstairs, I would talk to the guys and have a relationship, build a relationship. So one of the closest relationship I built was my partner now. His name is Dennis Tan. So he eventually moved to Nike Singapore headquarters. Nike headquarters, which is in Singapore. So we maintained a relationship. So when I say relationship, why it's special, it's because I don't think he would not be able to give me that opportunity if I didn't have that relationship with him.
Yeah.
So there's really no one player. But again, I just have to say, and I'm appreciative of my partner, Dennis Tan.
Yeah, and fair enough, Coach. Look what Titan has done now, and I firmly believe that it has really, it's actually the main reason why we're having a shoe game in the country.
Right.
So, Coach,
Thank you,
our
Miguel.
topic now. In their first 4 episodes, the young guys, they weren't able to answer this one because this is really hard. So
Okay.
Coach, I'm rooting for you. I need you to answer this one, Coach.
Okay.
Coach, tell me, who is the Mount Rushmore of the PBA?
Oh, wow.
You have to answer this, Coach. I'm pulling out for you, Coach. I'm pulling for you, Coach.
That's wild. That's wild.
If I can just add, Coach, Junmar wasn't able to complete the 4.
Yeah.
So wait, you guys have 4, and
Yeah,
you're
so
hoping I guess the right 4, or you're
No, no,
you're
no.
asking me?
The
No,
first
you-
four, the first 4 guys that we had on this show, Junmar, Robert Bolick, Ray and JV were together on one episode, and CJ, they weren't able to answer this question.
You weren't able to complete it.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean, they were able to complete it, but they were only to give us the toughest guys they faced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You, Coach, I'm expecting you to give us the 4 all-time best players of the
All right.
all-time.
Wow, you guys are okay. Remember, I played in an era where in the era of like Alvin Patrimonio and Jojo, they were still like mid their careers.
Yeah.
So I got a taste of them my first 6 years in the PBA.
Yeah.
I was able to catch Jaworski, of course. But to answer your questions, okay, here we go. So you're saying just 4?
Just 4.
Just 4?
yeah.
Yep.
For sure, Jaworski. For sure, Ramon Fernandez.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
Those two.
Those 2 are shoe-ins.
All right. I would have to say, because again, MVPs are
A big factor.
right, is a factor in regards because it shows that you were the MVP of that year, and that has a lot of weight. So my next 2 would have to be Alvin, and again, I played against a lot of great guys during my era,
Yeah.
right? So everyone can win or have the opportunity, if you're a superstar, to win an MVP once in a while. But to be consistent, it's crazy. So I have to put the 4th one as Junmar.
Yeah.
So it would be Jaworski, Ramon Fernandez, Alvin Patrimonio, and Junmar Farhar.
Yeah. Finally.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for me, guys, because Junmar's still playing.
Yeah.
But he already has how many? 5? How many does he have?
Uh,
5.
6 MVP
Six.
titles.
6, right? It's
Yeah,
like the
and he did
most.
that
Six.
consecutively. He did that
Yeah.
consecutively.
So there's going to be no question there that he's going to be up there. So you can say it now. So he's up there. But again, it doesn't deter the fact that I played against a lot of good players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a knock on the
My-
other legends. It's just
Right. My
these guys
teammates
were
aren't
just
there.
on another
Right.
level. Yeah.
Johnny's not there. JoJo's
Yeah.
not there.
I was actually
Alan
expecting
did-
Johnny would be there.
Not there. Oh my gosh. Johnny would be number 5.
Johnny would be close
five.
number 4, number 5. All right.
Number 5. Yeah.
So, Coach, last one. This is actually a personal thing for me. Coach, give me your Mount Rushmore and sneakers.
Oh wow. Okay. Mount Rushmore. How many? 4 again?
4.
Yeah.
4.
Shit. Okay. Jordan 1, the
Nice.
band. Yeah.
Oh, the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Band, right? Black and red.
Black and red.
Okay. I like the Concords 11,
11. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
right?
Black and white.
Concords
Yeah.
11. I like the Jordan 3
Cements.
gosh, cements.
Cements.
No, not
Yeah.
white cements. I like the white
cement.
cements.
All right.
The white cement. Those look really nice when you wear shorts. Huh? Ganda.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Last one.
then gosh. I'm not gonna say anything else. Those are my 3 favorites.
That's it. All right. A
Three
Jordan guy. All right.
I'll save the other one for oh, you know what the number 4 is? Okay, how can I miss this? Okay. The 4th one, LeBron 17 low Titan.
Of course.
Of course.
Of
You have
course.
to. You have to put that up there.
That's the 4th
LeBron
one.
wore
Sorry.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great list, Coach. So, Coach, before we go, I think we have a special guest reporter here, Ivan from Dugout. Ivan Saldahena.
Good evening,
Yeah.
Coach. So,
Hi.
hi, good evening, Coach. So, I have 2 questions for now. Number one, you mentioned earlier about the 2002 Asian Games team, the Philippine team, and in that tournament, Lee Sang-min broke your hearts by drilling a buzzer-beating 3 in the semifinals of the games, and that denied you of a medal. And by the time we're recording this, it's the 7th anniversary of the breaking of the Korean curse. So, witnessing that Korean curse getting broken at least for one night, 11 years after you missed on it, did you feel vindicated about that?
Absolutely. I didn't want to mention that because I didn't want to sound like it's about us. But what Gilas has done, again, when you talk about the curse, I would say on the list was that game, right? So doon nagsimula nun, di ba? In regards to playing against Korea. So I remember that shot as if it was yesterday. I remember exactly where I was. I was underneath the basket. I was trying to box out the big guy, and I was watching the ball and just hoping that it missed. That was actually that was disappointing. That hurt a lot. Not only because, again, you have that Filipino pride and you want to win for your countrymen and you're representing, Philippines, that's there. And aside from the fact that you're a professional, you're a competitor, you want to win. No matter what games you want to win, that's there. But aside from that, a quick backstory is, remember, in 1994, a week before leaving for Hiroshima Asian Games, myself and Dennis Espino, we get cut from the national team for the Asian Games, 94. In 98, that I was part of that. I traveled, I got on the airplane, we went there, and then I got cut when we got there. So in 2002, I was saying, okay, I'm going to travel, but I'm not going to be happy until I'm on the court. So I got on the court to play, and that was my real opportunity to play for the national team. And of course, you want to be able to win a medal, right? 94, you weren't able to go, so you stayed. 98, we won 3rd place. I don't know if you guys remember that, right?
Yes.
12 players was on the medal stand receiving
Their
a
medal.
medal and a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Where was the 13th guy? Right? So you could only imagine. I was in the tunnel waiting for them so we can go on the bus. So I never got a medal. So in 2002, Ivan, I wanted so bad, just one time. I just want to go on the stand, just to receive a medal, shake someone's hand, and it never happened. But again, you win some, you lose some.
Mhm. All right. So moving forward now, just aside after you retired from playing and aside from your coaching stuff, you're also leading the way in the junior NBA Philippines. And right now, it's bearing fruit. Keeper Ravenna is now the Gilas Pilipinas team captain. I think his younger brother was also part of junior NBA, is now in Japan. And of course, the big one, Kai Soto in the G League. So talk about them. Talk about junior NBA now producing some of the finest professional players right now, like Kai, like Keeper, like 30.
Yeah, I'd like to first start by saying that that opportunity would not be possible if it wasn't for the passion and the foresight and the support of Alaska. The junior NBA program, it's going to be different this year, but in the past, 15, 20 years, I think, Alaska has been the number one sponsor of the junior NBA program here in the Philippines. So Boss Fred believes in the junior NBA program. He believes in investing in the youth. He believes in investing in grassroots. So that's why we have this program. So I was fortunate enough when I came back to Alaska in 2014 to be a part of the program, to lead the coaches in all the camps. So that actually helped me as a coach to be able to work with kids and work with young teenagers who just love basketball and wants to improve. So that allowed me to travel all over the Philippines to so many different small places where they love basketball and we just wanted them we just wanted to give them a platform to be able to practice and to become better. So that vision was all Alaska, and I'm happy to mention it and be a part of that. But that program, I think, again, like you said, we are being able to see the fruits of that labor a little bit now with Kiefer and Kai to be the prime examples. So again, there's a couple guys who I think are in college now who were in a junior NBA program the last 3-4 years. So again, grassroots is really key. So that's why even at Titan, one of my main responsibilities is grassroots. So we have tournaments, we have camps, we have our academy. So it's working with the youth and just being able to share and help them improve their game.
So how is it like mentoring the second generation of players? Because during the 2000s, you were playing against, or we were playing with Commissioner Kenneth. You were playing against Irvin Soto. But the following decade, you're now mentoring their sons, Kenji, Kai, and of course, Kobe Paras as well.
That's true.
And even Kika,
It's again, you just see what's nice about players like that you just mentioned. You see how much they love basketball. You can see that they grew up in a basketball household, and just to be able to be part of their growth is already special. Just to see them develop and grow, and hopefully you guide them and you make a little bit of an impact in their career. I think that's something to be proud of. But yeah, it's really interesting to see the second generation players now. I think they are going to be the future of our part of our future here, our successful future in the PBA, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
All right. So any plans for junior NBA this year, especially that everyone is locked down, even the kids?
No, I think the program this year is also canceled like everything else. So they're just going to have to kind of wait till things settle down, and then we'll look forward to next year.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode's this episode of the Athletes Corner. Before we go, Coach Jeff, we'd like to give you some time to give a shout out to anyone. Maybe you'd like to thank someone,
Oh,
plug anyone.
first of all,
Floor is
thank
yours.
you, CD, Miguel, Ivan. Thank you for your questions, guys. Thank you for having me here. It
Yeah.
was really fun going down memory lane a little bit. You know, you know, the one thing I'd like to say is, again, during this pandemic, you know, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are going through hard times. But I say, you know, be diligent, be disciplined, and stay positive. I think soon we'll be able to fight through this, and we'll get back to. I think it's going to be a new normal, but it's going to be somewhat of a normal. So just stay positive is really just my advice, and then use this time to kind of better yourself. Well, what is it that you can do now to better yourself? And you know, just quick shout out to Alaska. You know, that's my team, all the players. You know, management has been awesome. Bus Fred, you know, they've, you know, that's they're the ones that I deal with each and every day and who are very special to me. My Titan family also, you know, hope everyone is doing well there, and thank you for your support in everything we do. And just hi to my family. You know, I'm gonna have another kid next month, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Congratulations, coach.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So
All right.
before we go, I just want to thank Coach Jeff for your time. Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you, coach.
An honor to have a legend and a coach here on the show.
No problem.
Support Titan, support local.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank Ivan. I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who's watching and to our editor. Pre, 5 episodes na tayo, di pa natin napapasalamatan si Sir Eric.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
thank you very much.
Salamat.
Dahil inaano mo kami, binibigyan mo kami ng time para i-edit yung ipapa-edit namin. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
My name is CD Argarin.
And my name is Miguel Latorre, and gusto ko lang po dagdagan yung sinabi ni CD and sinabi ni Coach Jeff kanina. No? You guys, you watch out for Alaska for the Philippine Cup. And yun, like, comment, subscribe. I-ring nyo na rin po yung bell para i-updated kayo sa mga susunod naming episodes.
That's right. And I'd like to give a shout out to Annie Ruti Instagram page. Supportahan nyo kung gusto nyo ng mga plants. And yeah, this has been the Athletes Corners, guys. And by the way, before we go, I'd like to leave this message. Smile more. It doesn't cost anything. Peace.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified with our latest videos.